Welcome to Wisdom Time. You've probably heard it, maybe even said it yourself a bunch of times. Hayırlısı olsun. It's this beautiful Turkish phrase that basically means, may the best outcome happen. But here's the thing. What if it could be either a really powerful prayer or just a completely empty wish? Today, we're going to figure out which is which and why it really matters.
I mean, seriously, millions of people use this phrase every single day. They use it when they're facing a tough decision, hoping for something good, or just dealing with uncertainty. It's a go-to for everything from a job interview to choosing who you're going to marry. But here's the catch. Its real power, its actual effectiveness, hinges entirely on the intention you have behind the words.
So that leads us to the big question, right? Does just saying these words automatically mean you're making a sincere, accepted prayer? Or could it sometimes be something else entirely? The answer? Well, it might actually surprise you.
Okay, so first, let's dive into the scenario where Hayırlısı olsun kind of falls flat. Because, yeah, under certain conditions, this phrase isn't a prayer at all. It just becomes an empty wish, totally lost to the wind. And the number one reason for that? It all comes down to the state of our heart.
You see, in Islamic teachings, there's this concept called ghafil qalb. It literally means a distracted or a heedless heart. The idea is actually pretty simple but so profound. God doesn't accept a prayer from a heart that isn't even there. If your mind is off somewhere else and your intention isn't focused when you're asking for something, well, that connection just isn't being made.
And this is exactly where the phrase can break down. When it's used as an excuse for laziness, or when you have a really vague intention, or you're just trying to dodge the responsibility of making a hard choice, it's not a prayer, it's just a fruitless wish coming straight from that distracted heart we were just talking about.
And this whole idea is backed up by a pretty clear teaching from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He advised believers to ask with a definite, firm tone. Now, that doesn't mean you should be demanding, but it does mean being clear and decisive about what you're seeking guidance on. A vague, half-hearted request, it just doesn't have that crucial conviction.
So, let's be super clear. The words hayırlısı olsun are not the problem. They're beautiful words. The issue is our approach, that lazy, non-committal, responsibility-dodging intention that can sometimes hide behind them. But what happens when we flip that intention?
This is where things get really powerful. Let's look at the other side of the coin and see how this very same phrase can be transformed into one of the most incredible acts of faith, one that perfectly blends our human effort with a deep divine trust. Just look at the difference. The gap between a passive wish and an act of prayer is all about action. Laziness gets replaced with research. Avoidance gets replaced with consultation. Vagueness turns into being decisive. And that is what turns a completely fruitless wish into an accepted, powerful prayer.
Let's make this super practical. Picture a student. They've done a ton of thinking, a ton of research, and they've decided, okay, computer engineering is the path for me. They've done their homework. But now they have another choice. Which city? Which university? They're stuck between a few really good options, and they're worried about all the things they can't know.
Now, in this state, after putting in all that work, the student turns to God. Their hayırlısı olsun is no longer some vague hope. It becomes this profound prayer of humility. It's basically saying, look, I've done everything I possibly can, and now I am placing my trust in your infinite knowledge to guide me to what is truly best for me.
And you know what's cool? This powerful way of saying Hayırlısı olsun is actually a reflection of a well-known Islamic practice called Istikhara. That's a specific prayer for seeking guidance. It's not about asking God to just make the choice for you. It's about you making a choice and then asking God to bless it if it's right and to gently steer you away if it's wrong.
So you're probably wondering, how do I make sure my Hayırlısı olsun is always the powerful kind and never the empty kind? Well, good news. There's a clear process for that.
And the process is actually pretty straightforward. It's got 4 key steps. First, it starts with your own effort. You've got to research and think. Second, you bring in others. Consult with people who know their stuff. Third, and this is a big one, you have to be brave and actually make a decision. And then, only after you've done your part, do you pray with a focused heart for the best outcome.
By the way, if you're finding this breakdown helpful and it's all starting to click, make sure you don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like our video, and turn on the notification bell. Your support helps us keep making more content just like this.
You see, this isn't just a simple 4-step checklist. What we're really talking about here is a kind of partnership,
A beautiful balance between our responsibility to take action and our faith in a wisdom that's so much greater than our own.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that faith is not a passive sport. The most important thing to remember is that your choices are your responsibility first. It's only after you've put in the work, the research, the consulting, the deciding, that you can truly and authentically place your trust in a higher power to guide the result.
And this whole process really requires humility. Part of the prayer is just admitting that, hey, even with all our research, we've got blind spots. There's no way we can know or evaluate every single factor perfectly. And that is precisely why we turn to God for guidance after we've done everything we can.
Ultimately, the message here is crystal clear. The path of true faith isn't one of laziness or trying to get out of doing the hard stuff. No, it's a proactive journey of effort, crowned with that final, beautiful, humble act of trust.
So, we'll leave you with this to think about. The next time you're facing a big decision, how are you going to approach this phrase? Will it be a passive wish to avoid responsibility? Or will it be that powerful prayer that comes after you've given it absolutely everything you've got? The choice and the effort is all yours.